Welcome to the Bank First Ranger Hour. Super Talk Mississippi 93.7 Spotlight on Northwest Community College. And you can listen to our live stream at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Bank First Ranger Hour. Now, here's your host, Gary Darby.
Well, hello, friends. We call this the Bank First Ranger Hour today. Of course, North Mississippi Spotlight comes your way between 9 and 10. We'll talk about Northwest Community College. That's our plan. And on the program today, guests you've heard from before, but we'll bring back into the discussion of things moving around the Northwest campus. It will be Lucia Nelson. There's an art show coming up. We may talk other fundraisers and different things and whatever we can find with Lucia coming up next. And when we're done with that conversation, Jeff Triplett comes in. He's the Entertainment Industry Studies Coordinator. We're going to talk about Ranger Records. We'll get into many other things with him along the way. Lucia and Jeff are guests today. And at the back end of the program, lots of sports to get to. We'll update you on Northwest football, women's soccer, volleyball. Off we go. Show is underway. It is a Thursday, October the 3rd edition of the Bank First Ranger Hour. Art and a different version of art coming up. Lucia Nelson will join us next, and then Jeff Triplett after that. Sports at the back end of the program. If you miss anything, it'll be in podcast form anywhere you get your podcasts later on today.
This hour is everything Northwest. Your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College and powered by Bank First. Thanks for joining us on the Bank First Ranger Hour. Join the conversation now by texting 662-426-1093.
This is what we do on a Thursday, now at 9:15, Bank First Ranger Hour. We'll get into Ranger Records and other things with Jeff Triplett in a moment. Well, we bring back now art instructor on the campus, Lucia Nelson. Lucia, good morning.
Good morning. Hey, Gary. How you doing?
I'm fine. Do you have a cup of coffee in hand? Are you ready to do this?
I do. I'm ready.
You are a coffee drinker? Yeah?
I am.
All right.
I am.
I guess we have to be,
Right.
to do things and to get this going. So explain with us, because we're going to get to you and your students and the things that are going on and fundraising for, the art program and everything that goes on there. But we have a show coming up and things maybe even like today that we need to discuss that's going on. What actually is going on at the art gallery? Let's just open it up.
Okay. Yeah. So we have our area, like our regional high school art exhibition in our gallery. We have our reception for that show today from 5 to 7. In the art building on the Senatobia campus. But this show, what we do is we highlight area high school students, their artwork. We rally the high school art teachers, and they get artwork together, and we display that in our gallery. We've got so many talented young people in our area, and we're just thrilled to be able to highlight their talents and their artistic accomplishments in our lovely gallery space here at Northwest. So the show is juried. We give cash prizes. It's a way that we can try to rally some interest on the part of the high school students.
Sure.
So we give cash prizes, awards for that. And it's one of our favorite events that we have here, because we get to see kind of the next generation of artists that are coming up.
What different varieties are there? Paintings? What different worlds are we getting in this show?
Yes, yeah. I mean, we kind of have it open to any kind of media. And in the gallery right now, we have drawings, paintings, some photographs, some ceramic work. So we've got a real variety of artwork out there right now.
Is this a way, too, maybe for you to recruit future art students?
For sure, yeah. This is one of our major recruiting events. because we get the students to bring their artwork here, and hopefully they'll come to our reception tonight, and we can show off what we've got going on, because we've got a great program here, and we're really proud of it. And I think it's great for the students to see, what's next, what could possibly be next, because we've got spaces in our building that are dedicated to art making, and they might not have been seen anything of that nature, in their high school, because we've got a studio for ceramics, we've got a really nice computer lab here, and so these are things that they can see and hopefully get interested in and want to come to Northwest and be part of it, because we've got a great program, and like I said, we're really proud of it.
And Lucia, I would guess that these students are coming within the Northwest recruitment area, the 11 counties that Northwest covers. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah. So I reach out to all the area high school art teachers in our 11-county district and see who's interested, and we collect that artwork and put it out there. So I think right now we've got artwork representing Senatobia High School, several high schools in DeSoto County. We've got Lewisburg, Center Hill, DeSoto Central, South Haven, and we've got Ashland. Ashland High School is participating this year, and I think that's the first time they've participated. So it's growing. This is our second annual. And I can say annual now because it's, we've done it more than 1 year. So this is our second annual show, and it's something that we intend to do every year because we really enjoy this event and getting these, like I said, the next generation of artists in here to see what we've got going on.
Remind the people, too, of times for if they want to show and come and to see that they can do this at the gallery, whether it's today with a reception or at any other time.
Right, so our reception is tonight from 5 to 7, again in the art building on the Senatobia campus. But the show is open to the public for viewing every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 2:30. That's our gallery hours.
Excellent. What about current students, things that are going on? What's happening on the Northwest campus?
Well, we've got, we're kind of finally getting in a routine from school starting, the new semester starting, so everybody is kind of churning it out. We've got students that are churning out some artwork, and we're kind of starting to get prepared for our next event, which involves our students on campus, and that is our art sale. We have our LeFaux art sale in November. So the LeFaux sale, our students, it's sponsored by our art club, and like you said before, it's one of our fundraising events. The students will make work. It's students, faculty will make work for the art sale, and the art club keeps a small percentage for the fundraising, and the students get to keep the remainder of the work they sell. But that's happening in November. That sale is November the 21st, and it's sponsored by our art club, like I said, and the name of our art club is LeFaux, and that is the name that the art club has had since the 70s. And that name is derived from an art movement, a 20th century art movement that, of course, the name of the movement was LeFaux, and what that means is that's a French term that means wild beast. And this group of artists, in the 20th century started to do things very differently than what had been done before, and started to use really bright, bold colors, and they felt like they were being kind of wild and crazy and shaking things up in the art world, and our students really embrace that.
Absolutely.
They embrace that phrase, and they feel like they're, doing things new and different and just kind of having fun with art, and that's a lot of what we try to do here.
So let me ask you, as you were talking there, I've gone online at northwestms.edu to kind of look at the art program and its different courses and ways. For most of us, that went through school, we may have taken an art history class, or we may have had appreciation, but we didn't obviously get into some of the other worlds. If a person is coming to Northwest and major in art, what are some of the things that they can specifically look at and major in?
Yeah, we've got, like I said, we've got a really great program, and the different classes that we have here, we teach the foundation courses, that will lead to a bachelor's degree in fine arts. So we kind of do the introductory courses, but we have drawing classes, we have painting classes, we have ceramics classes, digital art, which our students really, really love digital art. They really have an affinity for that, and they come in with a skill set that's pretty amazing in digital art. And we teach design classes, that kind of focus on composition and some graphic design sort of work, and art history and art appreciation. So those are the courses that we have here, and we think they're great.
Absolutely. I can see where the digital art is obviously catching on and exploding in today's world. And before we go, art majors, they have, some scholarship opportunities, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah. So while students are at Northwest taking these art pathway courses, they're developing a portfolio along the way of really quality works that they can submit for scholarships to four-year universities. And we also have scholarships that we give, and that's part of our high school show, is we kind of get to preview some of these portfolio pieces from the high school students that have an interest and a desire to come to Northwest, because we have scholarship opportunities for coming to Northwest, and again, it's based on portfolio pieces, and some of the work that we have in our gallery will be part of that.
Always a pleasure talking with you. Thanks for your time, and
you too.
We'll talk with you on another show, okay?
Okay, sounds great, Gary. Take care.
Thank you. Lucia Nelson with us. All right, first of all, there's the high school art exhibit that's going on. Reception today is mentioned, and a great way to bring high school students from the Northwest recruiting area, so to speak, and to show their work and do things. And, of course, the LeFaux coming up with their art, the shows that will go in November, and an opportunity to raise some money for art students and scholars. You get the whole gist of what we just said, right? You can go look a little bit more into the art world at northwestms.edu, just like I did as we were sitting and having the conversation, and brought that to you. All right, next, Jeff Triplett. We're going to talk recording studios and more with him.
Thanks for listening to the Bank First Ranger Hour, your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College on SuperTalk Mississippi 93.7 and streaming live at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Bank First Ranger Hour.
Be sure you get by the Northwest Art Gallery. Please check out what the high school students have put out for you to take a peek. And then there is that reception of things that will go on today. Maybe some famous young artist has a piece of work up there for you to look at today, and then the Northwest students as well in the upcoming days. Now we're going to talk a little different version of art. Entertainment Industry Studies Coordinator Jeff Triplett's back with us. That's a mouthful, my man.
Well, it is, Gary, and thank you again for having me on today. And, yeah, it's a mouthful. It absolutely is.
So, I read the press release. We've talked about this before, and I haven't had the opportunity to come by and to see the studio and to see things, to see Ranger Records. I know it's been an exciting thing for you. We're going to get into a lot of questions here, but tell us about the idea you had for the studio, maybe your goals, your vision for it. Can you explain to the people exactly what we're speaking of here?
Absolutely. So, as far as, goals go, obviously we want to, this is an academic program, which we can get into the details of in a moment. where we want to prepare students to go on to the university of their choice and complete their bachelor's degree. So the goal is to have them as prepared as possible, obviously with industry-leading, relevant coursework, and of course, equally important hands-on experience working in the studio with the hardware and the equipment.
Ranger Records, boy, I've seen the pictures and going through, and what an amazing look it has. There was, I want to put it as no cost spared, right? I mean, you guys went out and put some state-of-the-art equipment in the studio.
Oh, absolutely. So the program, when the students work here, a couple of important things. First of all of the equipment in our studio is not just state-of-the-art, not just the brands of equipment they'll see in professional studios, but it's literally down to, we have a few effects processors in the studio that are kind of like every studio that's a real studio has. So we, again, they'll go away from here having seen, touched, learned how to operate the things they'll see out in the real world. The other part of that is our studio is built around, not limited to, but it's built around recording with a software called Pro Tools, which is the industry leader in digital audio workstations. And when I say that, it's no joke. It is the most widely used digital recording and editing software in the professional world around the world. That sounds a little extreme, but it's absolutely the truth. So that's one of the reasons we teach it. We also teach it because it just works great. To kind of up the level on that for our students, we are also a Avid learning partner. And again, Avid's the company that makes Pro Tools. And so as an Avid learning partner, we have access to some teaching resources and materials that are not available anywhere other than direct from that company. And we also have an Avid certified instructor on staff to teach those classes. That happens to be me. And we have the added benefit for students of being able to become certified at a couple of different levels of Pro Tools as part of the classes I teach. And that's a certification they actually get awarded by the company. And once they take those tests and pass those certifications, they are listed in the database with the manufacturer of Pro Tools as a certified user. So that's a big plus for our students to be able to leave here with something really legitimate on their resume.
Yeah, that's a great bonus. Do you find yourself learning something new every day with the equipment as you're teaching along the way?
Every day. We just finished a big session last week where we had a guest engineer, and I'm certain I learned more than the students did because I asked more questions and took more notes, but that's part of my job. And so, yeah, I learn new things all the time. And the software and the technology, it evolves and changes at a pretty good pace as well. So there's always, new and exciting things to learn that I hopefully can pass on to our students.
Jeff Triplett is with us talking about this. I assume you're talking about the master class with Jason Gillespie. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. So last Tuesday we had a all-day recording session. We brought in a group out of Oxford called the Half of Us. Hope I've got that right, guys. And it's a student-led group, and we brought them in to be our recording guinea pig, so to speak. And we brought in Jason Gillespie, who's the head engineer at American Recording Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. Jason's a Grammy-nominated 20-plus year veteran that's very well known, very successful. I've known him for several years. He came in, he ran the session for us. The band that came in and played did 2 original songs that day. And then Jason came back and joined us again on Thursday and did a master class for all of our students on editing, mixing, and mastering the 2 tunes we did on Tuesday. So it was a great experience for all of us to see someone, in their element, working in real time. It was great.
Do you have more of these lined up?
Yes, this was the first of a series of recording projects that are going to go on throughout this entire school year. We have a variety of different groups that we have asked to come in and record for us. We have I have some other guest industry professionals lined up to come in and run some sessions. So we'll do some more of these 2-day events. We'll have some 1-day sessions. And this initial batch of recordings this school year will all be put together as the initial release on Ranger Records, the school's record label. And we anticipate that happening probably mid to late spring.
Boy, I'm just amazed, that Northwest has this to offer, right? So how many students do you have in this initial program?
I currently have 18 students, which may not sound like a big number, but when you put it in the context of really anything in the music world, whether we're talking music education, music performance, anything along those lines, it's a really good number. And I'm really fortunate we have, just like we draw from all these wonderful schools in our district, all these great, band and choral kids, a lot of whom are in my program. I'm fortunate to draw in from that same area. I get a lot of really talented kids. It's a real blessing.
No, I think 18 for the first cohort's kind of, probably, I don't want to call it a perfect number, but not too big for you to get started with, and enough that that it has that interest that could in turn help draw future, because they're going to start talking about what they're doing, right? With fellow students now or younger students along the way, and I think it's probably only going to grow larger from here. Obviously, that's the hope.
Absolutely.
So we're talking with Jeff Triplett about Ranger Records and a lot of things that go on there. So great hands-on experience. You do expect to actually produce, and when we say produce recordings, what kind of recordings? We won't have any vinyl, will we? What are we doing here?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So on the initial release, which will obviously have a little bit more fanfare about it than subsequent releases, I currently plan to release the initial recording on, we'll probably do it on a couple of different streaming platforms. We're going to release it on compact disc, on cassette, and on vinyl.
Excellent. I don't guess you could pull the Ranger Band in there and get them to do the fight song for me so I could play it on this show. I don't guess we could get all of them in there, could we?
Well, we record them outside, actually. We usually do that every year.
Excellent.
Oh, absolutely.
Anything else that's going on that we need to speak of before I let you go this morning?
I do just want to mention one thing that's important, because it's a question some people might have. The studio is not currently open to the public right now. It is strictly for, educational use, although that will always be the focus. So I just, and all the groups that we have asked to come in are groups we have invited. So I just wanted to kind of answer that question in anticipation of people maybe asking about that.
Jeff, thank you. I'm excited about this program. I know you are too. Obvious passion. You've been in different versions of music and things and recording, and this has to excite you that it's underway and going and in the direction that it is.
Oh, absolutely. I've been here at Northwest for several years and done a lot of different things, all in the music department. And obviously, I've always been into music. I've been into technology for a long time, and of course, this is the perfect marriage of those two. And it's really exciting to, get in on the creative side of things with the students, with songwriting. Although we don't teach that, but all the creative part is an inevitable part of what we do here. So it's exciting to watch them learn and see them get excited. And sometimes they don't seem real excited sitting in the classroom when I'm lecturing, but when we walk in the studio and start working, the smiles come up on the faces and they get energized. So yeah, it's great.
Absolutely.
Great time to be here.
When you can get your hands on the equipment, it's always fun. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Gary. I appreciate it.
Jeff Triplett back with us, talking with us about Ranger Records and things within the industry that they are doing on the Northwest campus, main campus in Senatobia, in the entertainment industry, and teaching kids a lot of different things and preparing them for that world. There's so many great programs that go on at Northwest, a lot of new things cropping up like this, and the excitement of having it in the fine arts department. If you are looking at or want to know more, it is northwestms.edu. It's located in the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts in the instructional wing, and they are doing good work there. He said with the first 18 in there, great technology, and a great way to train the students inside the studio for what might be next for them. Again, northwestms.edu. We have a few more items of business to get to in this Ranger Hour, so at 9:40 we'll pause, come back. Another great weather day in North Mississippi. Sunshine in mid-80s is what we're looking at for your Thursday.
Thanks for listening to the Bank First Ranger Hour, your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College on SuperTalk Mississippi 93.7 and streaming live at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the Bank First Ranger Hour.
We have a little bit of time to continue on this version of the show. Gary Darby in the SuperTalk studios in North Mississippi 93.7. Thanks to Lucia. Thanks to Jeff for being on our program today. If you missed any of our discussion, maybe just now, clicking in, well, you missed some great conversation about art students and art shows, and then the Ranger Records and technology and the things that the students have in that industry, in the entertainment world as well. This will be in a podcast form coming up a little bit later on today, so you can go back and catch some of that if you missed anything. Don't want you to miss anything in the world of sports, because we do have some things to discuss involving a few of our teams that we'll get into right now. Following a 28-20 win against Northeast last week, Northwest has moved up 3 spots to number 7 in the country in the latest NJCAA football rankings. Now, the Rangers were preseason number 7, lost the heartbreaker by 1 to Pearl River in the opener, and then have reeled off 4 straight wins. They have, as most of the community colleges in Mississippi, the week off. They have instituted a bye weekend, which I think is so beneficial, especially right here in the middle, 5 games in a 10-game regular season, because when you look at some of the teams, the ones that finish first and second in the respective North and South divisions, well, then they're going to play in the playoffs, which obviously could be 2 extra games. And some of these teams, usually the winner in the state of Mississippi, is at least playing in a bowl game and most likely playing in the NJCAA playoffs. So there's 4 teams. So there is a possibility that a Mississippi community college school could end up playing the 10 regular season games, 2 games in the state to win a state championship, and then 2 games to win a national championship. So in the past, it had been 14 straight weeks to try and go, right? We hear what we have heard over time over the FBS schools, and now getting that opportunity to do this similar thing. But the community colleges in Mississippi were doing it without a bye. It was just Thursday nights, and occasional Saturday, but no time off. They at least get this small break from the field. They will be back next Thursday on the road at Southwest Mississippi in Summit. The Bears are 0-5 on the season. Kickoff at 7. All of the usual places for you to go and watch and listen to the now number 7 Northwest football team. You have a chance to watch the 9-0 and number 1 women's soccer club tomorrow in Senatobia. Lady Rangers are hosting Hines at 5 o'clock, and they have another home match on Tuesday of next week against Itawamba. Start time for that match is also at 5. So Coach James and his group, the opportunity 2 more times in conference play before we have another show. Number 1 Northwest Women's Soccer, now 9-0 on the season. Many of those wins have been against nationally ranked teams. They have gotten off to the hot start. They will again host Hines tomorrow at 5 on the Northwest campus, and then Tuesday it's Itawamba, also in Senatobia, and also at 5 o'clock. Speaking of hot, right now no team is warmer than the volleyball team because Coach Burchett and the team now have extended their program-long win streak to 13 with a win on Monday. Lady Rangers swept Meridian, and they did so in 3 sets to improve to 16-6 overall, 3-0 in the conference with that 13th straight win. They host Henderson State's JV for 2 non-conference matches on Saturday, and that will be at noon and 2 on Saturday at Howard Coliseum, and they get back in conference play on Monday at home against Northeast. So no football on the schedule, but soccer, football if you want to call it that, on the Northwest campus coming up tomorrow and then again on Tuesday. But for volleyball, there's a couple of matches for you on Saturday and then one on Monday at Howard Coliseum that you could catch and see if that 13-game win streak can extend for the Northwest volleyball team. And that music means it's time for us to move on out of here. Give you over to the rest of the run on Super Talk 93.7. Again, if you missed anything in today's Bank First Ranger Hour, podcasts, and anywhere you find them, it'll be up in just a few.
Now the time has come for leaving, fear, now we shall